Welcome to Markets Today. I'm Ibrahim Sani. Our focus today is on the aviation sector, in particular Airbus and Malaysia Airlines. We start with Airbus as the company debuted its A330neo yesterday. The new plane took off from Toulouse, France on its maiden test flight. The aircraft is a medium to long-range wide-body jet carrying with it a Rolls-Royce Trent 7000 engine. The A330-900 version, which took its maiden flight, is slated to get its full certification middle of next year. The slightly smaller A330-800 is set to follow in 2019. The planes can carry about 260 to 290 passengers, and Airbus says that the latest A330 will use 14% less fuel per seat. Industry observers suggest that this is Airbus's answer to Boeing's 787 Dreamliner. Airbus has said both plane configurations have the ability to take greater payloads, allowing it to be used comfortably on such routes such as KL to London, which is approximately 10,600 kilometers. AirAsia X has placed 66 units on this plane, and for those wondering, NEO stands for the new engine option. And speaking of which, I went to Toulouse, France to visit the office and the manufacturing plant of Airbus. Here's a short video of my trip. It's one of the great adventures of being a journalist, having to be able to step into the mock-up center of Airbus. Of course, Airbus is the one of two big manufacturers of wide-bodied aircraft. Behind me is the A330. Malaysia Airlines have 15 units of this currently flying, and perhaps if you're watching this particular documentary, you would realize that you yourself have flown into one of these aircraft. Coming here in Toulouse, I flew from Kuala Lumpur to London using this aircraft. If my camera can just pan that way, this is of course the ever-famous A380, the two-tiered body level aircraft, which Malaysia Airlines is now phasing out. They want to move these aircraft, they have six aircraft units of this, to the Project Amal or Project Hope that will shuttle in Hajj. Now the reason I'm here in Toulouse, in the heart of Airbus's center, of the mock-up center, is of course this particular airline. This is what Malaysia Airlines is buying. This is called the A350. This is a brilliant type of aircraft. We can't take footages inside, unfortunately, but I was inside. I was viewing all the classes, the first class, the business class, the premium economy classes, and this is indeed a very interesting aircraft. They are quite advanced in trying to deliver the best technology out there. I can perhaps detail out some of the technologies later on, but here this is where they want to use this. Malaysia Airlines wants to use this aircraft for their long-haul journey. They want to focus on the KL-London route. They want to focus on other long-haul routes as well. So the question now is whether or not this is indeed a good buy. From my unbiased perspective of being here for a few hours, this is a very cool aircraft to work with. The cabin crew will have a seamless transition of working from the A330 to the A350. The galleys, the galley inserts, everything would be the same between the two aircrafts. Pilots, you would need only one pilot license to fly the A330 and the A350. Much of the parts are similar as well, so it reduces the operational costs for the airline, in this case Malaysia Airlines. So if Malaysia Airlines wants to go for operational efficiency, then this could be a good buy. I also spoke to the outgoing Malaysian Airlines CEO, Peter BELLEW. How does this impact the regular Malaysians out there?
I think this shows really true transformation of the airline. We're taking delivery of brand new state-of-the-art aircraft, wide-body aircraft that can travel all over the world, travel huge distances, and some of the most modern and most comfortable equipment you can possibly get. So the Malaysia Airlines story moves on now from one of difficulties and challenges and going through all the retrenchments of people to now a story of renewing the fleet, improving the product, and starting to see some growth back into the business in terms of finding a path now to being equivalent to the best international airlines.
Earlier in the media scrum just now, you were describing that the possibility of Malaysia Airlines going for listing, the possibility of looking into partnership with other airlines, all that, right? All that means that Malaysia Airlines are unlocking value. And I was quoting, can I quote you earlier just now? You were saying something along the lines of this could bring greater value and benefit to the Malaysian people.
Yeah.
Could you describe more on that?
You know, the money that's been put into Malaysia Airlines by the government and the Ministry of Finance in Khazanah we're quite conscious that we need to repay that and create value for the people. There's two ways of doing that. There's pure monetary value, and I hope with the work that we've been doing over the last couple of years that we will be able to build that up back into a profitable business that'll have value, and that'll have value both on the capital markets and possibly within the trade markets to our partners. The second part of it is there are some key routes we will need to develop a really high quality business class service over the next couple of years. People expect to travel in great comfort now. International business people want a certain level of product and connectivity. And these Airbus A350s are the state-of-the-art, most comfortable aircraft you can get out there right now. And I think we'll be delivering a quality experience to people that we haven't been able to do over the last number of years.
Is the airline shrinking because of the narrowing fleet that you have right now, or is it growing per the plan of the 2018?
What we're doing is we plan to replace small aircraft with bigger aircraft, but try and do it in an incredibly good value for money way. So we're just finalising a deal to lease 6 former wide-body A330 aircraft X from Air Berlin, and the cost of those will be less than the narrow-body aircraft that we have just moved out of the fleet. And we'll add more seats, add bigger planes, and that actually will increase capacity, but possibly the overall size of the fleet won't grow that great. It's just about putting bigger planes on that'll take more people, and that'll bring down our costs and allow us to make more money.
Are you still committed in building Malaysia Airlines as a regional airline service?
I think region it'll go right the way up into North Asia, right the way down to New Zealand, all the way over into the UK and into the Middle East. But we are evaluating other routes.
Your regional looks very global to me.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So I don't think we're so regional.
Okay.
You know, we fly 14 hours and 10 hours. So if the total span from going from Auckland to London is 24 hours flying time. We don't plan to start flying to New York or the West Coast. I think we try and get the low-hanging fruit first. If we connect up the North Asia, China, right into India, right down to Australia, New Zealand, and possibly maybe try and start something else in Europe over the next couple of years, we'll be doing very well. Really for us on London, I think it will be a super product. We'll have Wi-Fi on board. The interiors of the aircraft, I think, are a step ahead. It's a very, very quiet aircraft. It's a very comfortable aircraft. The cabin altitude inside the aircraft is more like as is down on the ground. It's more moist, the air. So I think people will find when they're flying to London on this aircraft, they'll feel more refreshed, they'll feel more alive, they'll feel in better shape. So right now we've got 48 737-800 aircraft. They seat between 160 and 166 passengers. We have 15 passenger A330-300 aircraft. They have roughly about 287 passengers. And then we have the 6 A380s that they operate. They've got 496 seats on most of those aircraft at the moment. So we expect next year, we've just handed back 6 737s. That was to make room for wide bodies. We found the wide bodies a couple of weeks ago, so those aircraft should enter the fleet next year. So that'll bring the fleet back up to the same size as it was in July. So there's going to be no huge growth in the fleet size, but it depending on how the business goes, it may end up being 84 or 86. But it's nothing radical. We're just trying to do it in a sensible way. Any of the aircraft that we've bought or leased at the moment, the Boeing MAX aircraft and the A330s that we just leased a couple of weeks ago, they're all costing us less than the existing aircraft that we've got. So our costs for aircraft are going to go down over the next couple of years rather than going up.